Welcome back, everybody, to another bunch of questions here. This time today we have questions on governmental assets, liabilities, revenues, and expenses. That is a mouthful, right? Well, this is going to be balance sheet and income statement, although it won't be called that for government. Generally speaking, that's what these are. Let's check out some questions. So, how should a city's general fund report the acquisition of a new police car in its governmental fund statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance? Let's think about that for a second. Well, this is an acquisition of a police car. We're talking about the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance. That's going to make me, in my mind, cross off our non-current asset and our PP&E because those are assets. Those don't sound like they belong here. It sounds like more of a net position financial statement. And that's the reason. That's not just me. So also we end up with expense and expenditure. Now, what's the thought process between these two? Well, it is as simple as when we're using our governmental funds, and since the general fund is a governmental fund, the word expense is not used. We use the word expenditure. Now, I'm not going to go into the reason why. It's not important for the exam. Simple rule, whenever you're dealing with governmental funds, you use the word expenditure. A couple of weird things like encumbrances, some new concepts. This one is just a word. We don't use the word expense. All right, moving on. The budget for the city of Goodville for the year ending December 31 was adopted and recorded on January 2nd of the same year. After recording the budget, the accounting records showed a debit balance of $50,000 in the budgetary fund balance account. What does this indicate? All right. Well, this is going to be our beginning and ending bookend entries, as we have seen before. This is going to be our beginning entry. I definitely have these memorized, but I'm just pulling it up here to walk through it with you. Now, we're always going to debit estimated revenue control, and we're always going to credit appropriations control. Great. So in this case, we showed a debit balance of $50,000 in the budgetary fund balance. So that's the budgetary control, same thing. Now, if we showed a debit there, that would mean that we have a deficit in the budget, meaning we're going to spend more than we're bringing in. All right, so budgetary control, let's say it's a debit of 50. And then let's say that estimated revenue control was 100,000. Well, that would mean that appropriations control is going to have to be 150,000 to balance it out. Now, what does that mean? Well, let's run through our answers. Does it mean that appropriations are $50,000 greater than estimated revenues? Yeah, wow, it seems like that's the case, but let's keep reading through. Estimated revenues are $50,000 greater than appropriations. That's the opposite. That's not true. What about appropriations are 50 greater than revenues? Nope. And we're dealing with estimated revenues control, not revenues. That is not the case. What about revenues are 50,000 greater than appropriations? Nope. Does not seem to be the case either. All right, so final answer here is going to be letter A. Appropriations are 50 greater. And in questions, feel free to make up your own numbers. Try out numbers and use your own. In something like this, it's the perfect way to do it. All right, moving on. Which of the following activities should be excluded when governmental fund financial statements are converted to government-wide financial statements? All right, this question, it's more of a government-wide one, but it's all connected, right? So it is good practice. Well, governmental funds are definitely included, so government activities, sure, that's included. What's excluded? Proprietary activities? Well, in the government-wide, the enterprise belongs by itself as the business activities, and the proprietary internal service is grouped together with the governmental activities. But either way, both of those are included. And enterprise is a part of proprietary, so that belongs as well. Final answer is fiduciary. Fiduciary activities are excluded when we are consolidating at the government-wide. Now, they are separately stated. Doesn't mean you don't ever mention them. They're just not reported with the government-wide. Hope y'all are doing well. Please take care of yourselves. Healthy mind, healthy body. healthy life, get through this exam, and get back to enjoying your lives. Not that you can't be enjoying your lives while you're doing this test, but it's much easier when you're not. Thank you all for joining, and I am with you in spirit and for assistance. Keep going strong, and I'll see you in the next video.